By way of a little reading before another hymn, this is a poem called Beginners by Denise Levertov. It has an epigram dedicated to the memory of Karen Silkwood and Elliot Garala. From too much love of living, hope and desire set free, even the weariest river wind somewhere to the sea. But we have only begun to love the earth. We have only begun to imagine the fullness of life. How could we tire of hope? So much is in bud. How can desire fail? We have only begun to imagine justice and mercy, only begun to envision how it might be to live as siblings with beast and flower, not as oppressors. Surely our river cannot already be hastening into the sea of non-being. Surely it cannot drag in the silt all that is innocent. Not yet, not yet. There is too much broken that must be mended, too much hurt we have done to each other that cannot yet be forgiven. We have only begun to know the power that is in us if we would join our solitudes in the communion of struggle. So much is unfolding that must complete its gesture. So much is in bud.
So part of our gathering here is about a sermon. Sermons, I have noticed, are often based on a sacred text. So for this morning's talk, I have chosen a single line, just 13 words, from the New Testament book of Hebrews in the Christian scriptures. Here it is. For here we have no continuing city, but we seek for one to come. Here we have no continuing city, but we seek for one to come. Now, I should confess that I am taking this line completely out of context, but the context is more religious than would be useful for Unitarians. But when I came across this text some time ago, it struck me as an expression of two major realities that confront all of us throughout our lives. The first is impermanence, reflected in the phrase, no continuing city. And the second reality is our longing, our yearning, our endless seeking for something enduring. Here we have no continuing city, but we long for one to come. So first of all, consider impermanence. From the day of our birth, we are cast adrift on a sea of constant and unpredictable change over which we have very little control. Now, this is not news to any of you. We have all experienced this. Our bodies change, sometimes painfully and often without warning. Our moods change daily and sometimes hourly. We change our minds frequently, and our minds or our thinking change all by themselves. Just try meditating for 2 minutes, and you will see what your mind can do all on its own. Furthermore, the outer circumstances of our lives also change as empires and political regimes rise and fall, as elections, protests, and revolutions punctuate our history, as technology develops, as economic and social conditions change over time. All of this has given me employment for 50 years as a historian, trying to make sense of the world. Should you wonder, I have not succeeded in doing so. And beyond the human realm, our planet has changed as tectonic plates move around, as mountains rise up and erode away, as ice ages and warming periods alternate, and as life has evolved on this planet alongside numerous extinction events. Even the universe apparently has a history. It began in a Big Bang some 13.8 13.8 billion years ago, or so we are told, stars are born, flourish, and then they collapse and die, and the cosmos itself is apparently expanding rapidly. Things change. Nothing lasts. This recognition of impermanence registers in all of the great religious or spiritual traditions of the world. The Psalms, for example, are full of expressions of impermanence. Consider Psalm 103. As for man, his days are like grass. He flourishes like a flower of the field. The wind passes over it, and the place knows it no more. And impermanence is a fundamental Buddhist teaching. All compounded things are subject to vanishing, declared the Buddha. Their nature is to come and go. Having arisen, they vanish. Now, frequently the actual experience of impermanence is disquieting, it is frightening, it is a source of anxiety and suffering. It is no wonder that we yearn for something solid, for some lasting place, for a continuing city. On a personal level, we yearn for safety, for acceptance and love, for a sense of well-being and inner peace, for some respite from the turmoil of ordinary life. And in the larger world, we yearn, as many of us did yesterday, at the local protests. We yearn for a time when justice will roll down like the waters and righteousness as an ever-flowing stream. We yearn for the peace on earth which the angels promised to the shepherds. And often we can hardly say what in particular we are yearning for. As humans, we are yearning creatures. History, literature, poetry, and the arts give expression to this endless ache of our longings. Let me offer you just two examples. The first comes from the Sufi poet Rumi, who compares a human person to a reed which has been cut from its bed to make a flute which is capable of such haunting music. Listen to the reed and the tale it tells. How it sings of separation, saying, "Ever since they cut me from the reed bed, my wail has caused men and women to weep. Whoever has been parted from his source longs to return to that state of union." A second expression of this yearning comes from the diary of the teenage girl Anne Frank, February 12, 1944, in hiding in Nazi-occupied Amsterdam. The sun is shining, the sky is a deep blue, and I'm longing, really longing, for everything. Conversation, freedom, friends, being alone. I'm in a state of utter confusion. I don't know what to read, what to write, what to do. I only know that I'm longing for something. Surely we can all identify with this kind of shapeless longing. Among Jews and Christians and maybe Unitarians, it is understood as the yearning for God. The writer of Psalm 63 put it like this: "O God, I seek thee, my soul thirsts for thee, my flesh faints for thee, as in a dry and weary land where no water is." Surely all of us have been there. We may on occasion feel our longings to be a kind of failure because they reveal the great distance between our deepest aspirations and our actual achievements. But we live our human lives in a persistent tension between longing and realization. Our reach always exceeds our grasp. So we need to honor and accept our longings as the price of our humanity. Furthermore, these longings motivate us. They stir us to action. If we yearn for a better world, we feed the hungry in our community. If we are yearning for love, we can offer it to others. If we are yearning for inner peace, we can take some time for prayer, meditation, and silence. How much of the world's music, poetry, and art have been generated out of longing? Longing, we might say, is the mother of all creative action. And it was well in evidence yesterday. Impermanence, too, bears blessing as well as pain and anxiety. After all, recognizing impermanence aligns us with reality, while denying it is both futile and only makes things worse. The Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh says that our suffering does not come from impermanence, it comes from wanting things to be permanent when they are not. Perhaps we can understand our own ups and downs less personally by understanding that we too are part of this vast flow of things. We participate personally and individually in the endless stream of arisings, transformations, and vanishings that is our life. The recognition of impermanence also enhances our appreciation of the preciousness of the moment. Cherry blossoms are beautiful in part because we know they will not last. Autumn leaves are poignant precisely because they are fading. The death of a beloved person can hold the sweetness of that love as well as the pain of loss. Mary Oliver sums it up like this: to live in this world, you must do three things: to love what will die, to hold it against your bones, knowing that your own life depends upon it, and when the time comes, to let it go, to let it go. Now, recognizing impermanence and actually accepting it are quite different things. Acceptance involves setting aside our emotional resistance to unwelcome change. Now, honestly, precisely how this happens is something of a mystery to me. Maybe sometimes it occurs as life itself rubs away our rough edges. This is mellowing, and it is one of the blessings of aging. But we can also work at accepting impermanence by consciously reflecting on change. Buddhist practice, for example, sometimes involves meditation in a cemetery. No better place to work on accepting change. Now, reflecting on impermanence and longing together offers an opportunity to monitor our expectations about our inner lives. What is reasonable for us to expect from ourselves? After all, the reality of impermanence does not mean constant distress, as the joys this morning articulated. And our longings are not always futile. Our inner life, like everything else, changes over time. For those of us who are not saints or sages, our awareness of the sacred, our experience of transcendence, our times of tranquility are probably intermittent at best. This is not failure. It is not a cause for self-criticism. It is human life in a difficult world. But there are times, of course, when we feel something solid beneath our feet. Frequently this occurs in the course of ordinary life, when we are surprised by joy, as C.S. Lewis puts it, when we find ourselves stunned by the multiple mysteries of our lives. We may feel gratitude for a shared meal. 3 great trees stand majestically behind our home in La Selva Beach. A small child on a bicycle is a thing of wonder. So too is our beautiful black cat. And on and on and on. Music, perhaps, brings us closer than anything to the mystery of the unseen world, even if only momentarily. Likewise, immersion in the natural world can give us a taste of connection to what is immensely larger than ourselves. Listen now to what some have called the greatest line in ancient Chinese poetry. It was written in the midst of a terrible civil war in the 8th century of the Common Era. It is simply this: the country in ruins, rivers and mountains endure. The country in ruins, rivers and mountains endure. Perhaps a good reminder for our present situation. At other times, however, we may experience a sense of despair, depression, discouragement, disappointment, confusion, when there is no solid ground beneath our feet, no continuing city to sustain us, no felt experience of divine presence. This, of course, is a perfectly normal human experience, which Jesus too shared when he cried out, "Why have you forsaken me?" What to do in these circumstances is a very difficult question, and there is no formula to guide us. Belief may help when experience is absent. Even on a cloudy day, we can believe that the sun is shining behind the clouds. Remembering can also help. The writer of Psalm 77 was in despair, and in that condition he declared, "I will call to mind the deeds of the Lord, yea, I will remember thy wonders of old." Can we too recall in the darkness what we have witnessed in the light? And then sometimes we must simply endure without any clear assurance of resolutions. Then we might follow the wise counsel of Psalm 37, "Be still and wait patiently." Living at the intersection of impermanence and longing means that we will probably never achieve lasting inner peace or enduring tranquility. But we can, and we do, have moments of equanimity, glimpses of eternity, flashes of insight, bursts of appreciation and gratitude, times of quiet and rest. Perhaps it is enough. And for all of that, hallelujah, praise be to God. Happy spring. Amen.